for the Sunrise School Board meeting. We're going to have O Canada by Oakbank Elementary. Please stand if you can do so. Thank you to Oakbank Elementary. We have our treaty acknowledgement. I'm going to ask Trustee Rowan to read out our treaty acknowledgement, please.
We acknowledge the traditional land upon which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnership with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Thank you, Trustee Rowan. Before I adopt the agenda, just to remind the public that we have 7 trustees here with us. We have Trustee Smith, Trustee Rowan, Trustee Nicol, Trustee Boytson, Trustee Dent, Trustee Harris, and myself. We have Trustee Reed online, and Trustee Rowland is not able to make it, so there are 8 trustees that are here with us. As well as we have Secretary Treasurer Thiessen. We have Assistant Superintendent Thielberg. We have our Executive Assistant, Stacy. I got it right the first time. We also have in here Serena from the Sunrise Teachers Association, and we have future superintendent here with us. Trevor Reed is in the gallery. So I just wanted to make sure before we go, so we know that there'll be 8 people voting whenever we come to motions. So the second part is adopting the agenda. Be it resolved, the board approve the agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Rowan, seconded by Trustee Smith. Any questions to the motion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Thank you, and it passed 8-0. The next part is Chair's comments. A reminder that if you have questions, please send your questions to jody.thiessen@sunrisesd.ca. Please put your name and address of the sender to be included in the email, and we'll try to answer, we will answer the questions during a question period later on in the meeting. I'm going to open up to the floor about sharing a story. Trustees, anybody interested in sharing a story? Trustee Rowan.
I attended the SDI Remembrance Day ceremony. It was very well done. I really enjoyed seeing the photos from staff and students of their relatives that have served or are currently serving. It's a wonderful part of their ceremony. SDI also had their first PAC meeting this last week. They will be meeting again January 30th of 2024.
Thanks, Trustee Rowan. Trustee Smith.
I was able to attend the Remembrance Day service for the middle years at the Edward Schreyer School. I was unable to attend the one at the early years because they actually were really close together. So hopefully they can coordinate that a bit better next year. I know they did do that in the past. So the Legion had a hard time making it to both events. But it was very well put together. They actually had 2 rush a bit because of the snow day before, so they didn't get a chance to rehearse. But the small group of kids from the Air Cadets did a very good job. There was, I think, 7 of them. Normally there's like 15. I think a whole bunch of them graduated last year. But they did a very good job. It was very well received. And I also attended the very large Remembrance Day service here in Beaujeu. That's very well attended, and I get to actually help with that and the wreath laying as well. I help coordinate that event, and it's very well received and very well attended. I love it very, very much. That's pretty much it. Sorry for rambling a bit there, guys.
Thanks, Trustee Smith. Anyone else? Trustee Nicol?
Yeah, there was of course we passed last time, there's a travel club in Whitemouth going to Ireland and Scotland in 2024. There are 28 students going, which is about half the population in Whitemouth from grades 8 to 11, so that's pretty good. Over half the kids are going.
What's the school going to do? They're shutting down when half the population leaves, or what?
Huh?
I'm just teasing, Don. I said, since you said that half the students are leaving, so I guess we're shutting the school down for the other 28 students, or what?
No, because you didn't listen. I said 8 to 11.
Thanks, Trustee Nicol. Anyone else? Trustee Harris?
Gillis had another strong PAC meeting last week that I was able to attend. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the Remembrance Day service, but I understand it was almost standing room only and that things went extremely well there. Thank you.
Anyone else? Trustee Spielberg? Lars?
Dual roles today. Every 3 years, the province does a report and review process to ask a bunch of questions about student services at schools. And in the past, they've always noted that our administrators know our kids so well. They always bring attention to that. And I was at 4 school visits today, and it was remarkable how easy all of our administrators can talk about so many kids and how well they know them. It's a point that deserves to be brought forward. So that was Dave Ogren, Kim Stevenson, Randall Bonato, and Kristen Bellany. They know their kids. It's something to be proud of.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thanks very much, Lars. And I reminisced is that if you're watching online, Superintendent Timko is not here with us. She's off, and so we've got the tag team of Jody and Lars here taking care of us. So thanks very much for that. Anyone else?
I attended the Veterans Day at the Legion in Lackawanna, and also there was a second one at the high school. It was very well done.
Thanks, Trustee Reed. Anyone else? So I too attended at Powerview School the Remembrance Day service, and I thought that it went very well, and our kids were well behaved. And I'm sure that happened across in all of our schools, because I know that teachers get very anxious that someone's going to step out of line and say something or whatever during it. And I was one of those teachers, and now I'm not, and I get to look at the teachers' faces when somebody twitches the wrong way, and everybody's like frozen solid, please don't do anything. And you know what, kids were great. And so, you know what, I think that we need to remind ourselves, and thanks to all of our staff for going ahead and doing that. And the other thing is that I also want to say thank you to our crisis team. Unfortunately, our crisis team has had to go to schools and help out in the last little bit too often, but I can tell you that we're in good hands. So for the people of the public that are out there, and when things, unfortunately, when things happen, I think that Lars and your group that have organized that group of the crisis team members that drop things and come to help out at schools, we're in pretty good hands at that time. So thank you to all of them that have been helping out. We appreciate it. Thanks, Lars. Anyone else? Okay. Now we have a board presentation, and I see that Jason is here with us, so I'm going to turn it over. Is it you? I'll turn it over to Jody.
I get to welcome our HR director, Jason Lang here. Oh, something happened to my computer. Okay, let's get this going. Nope, I do not know what's going on. Oh, I'm going to just, do you want to run it? Okay. But I'm going to welcome Jason Lang here. We're going to apparently I can't run technology today, so Lars is going to put this on the screen. But Jason comes tonight to present his HR presentation. HR is a very important role here in the Sunrise School Division. There are a lot of rules and regulations that this department must follow. It's not just posting jobs and seeing who is the best person for the job. It is making sure that we're posting jobs and meeting all of the collective agreements. It's making sure we're interpreting the collective agreements. It's following labor standards rules and learning what's coming down the chute from other sectors, what we have to be aware of. So this department, even though it's small, it is very mighty. There's a lot of things that go on in this department that I know before it comes across my desk that Jason's looked over, crossed the T's and dot the I's, and I want to say I appreciate all the hard work that him and his team does. So I'm going to hand it over to Jason.
I'm going to say thank you very much for the invite and an opportunity to present in front of you. I am not going to read verbatim. I am going to add some narrative here. Looking at the first page, I always say Winnipeg is much smaller than our geographic area, and I wish we'd get some recognition that we do have quite a large geographic area, and there seems to be a lot of perimeteritis that shows when you get past that. I'm even going to extend it all the way to Oakbank. People don't want to leave Oakbank area either. Page 2, I just put some of the presentation topics that I'm going to be going through today. So I will give you some head counts. I know in the finance group we talk about FTE, full-time equivalent, but in HR we talk about bodies because each person is a body, and again, it's all paperwork, it's all meet and greeting them, it's not the FTE that we see. Going to the third page, just the HR team. It is myself, the HR director, but the team is much larger than what you see here. We've got the Sunrise Education Center team of executive assistants. They jump in when needed. We have our division principals jump in when needed. We have our superintendent jump in when needed. So the core individuals, myself, our HR coordinator, we're 12-month employees. We have a new safety advisor who started this, I'm going to say summer towards September. Her name is Shirley, and she works 2 days a week. We did have our other safety advisor who was a contract external. She has moved on. She has found that the travel out to our area is too far, too drawn out, too much time on the road. Shirley comes with to us from Saskatchewan. She is a very, I'm going to say, seasoned safety and health person. And it was just a timely event that she came as the province of Manitoba started their site audits. And I think we are very out of the gates with our site audits compared to some of the other school divisions. So it's a new initiative from the Manitoba Workplace Safety and Health Branch, and it is going not department by department, but it's going facility by facility, where they've already done NOLA school, they've done our transportation department. We did get, I'm going to say, a gold star from our safety department on the transportation site. Turning to the HR role. There are I've narrowed it down to 6 core items, and number 1 is that diamond. We're a value-added service to the division. If you don't see HR as a value added to any organization, we're not needed. We're there to provide accurate and timely and consistent responses to our clients. I'm not going to go any further into this page. Jumping to the next page, I'm going to end off. This role is everything has to be done with a caring, professional approach. If you don't have that, then we spoil the HR relationship, and everything in human resources is about relationships. Moving on to HR services, this is the core area where we spend most of our time in the services. I'm going to point out the labor relations. I'm going to say I feel that our HR team has excellent relationships with our union presidents. I see we also have one of them here tonight. So yes, we're always going to have differences, but with any union, we're going to have differences. We're going to work them out, and we're going to work them out in a friendly manner because we all have to work together. Turning to the next page, I've got some numbers for you, some head counts, and I'll break that out further. We currently have 799 full-time, part-time term employees, and we have a head count of 534 casual employees. When I say casual, that includes our custodians, our sub-EAs, our secretaries, sub-teachers, drivers, lunch monitors, bus aides. We do have 5 unions in our division, so I will go into those a bit further as well. Turning to the next page, just broke down our division head count. Our division head count, drivers and mechanics. We do have some areas where there are concerns in the division. We have an average age in that group of almost 57 years old, which is getting on the higher side. Our teachers, we currently have an average age of 43. So I don't really have too much concern with our teacher population. In Canada, it does show that more and more of employees are staying to almost age 60. What was the 50 once is now the 60. We're all growing up. At one time we thought, oh, I'm only going to stay till 50, 55. Now that we're 55, we're saying we're too young to retire. The 799 that you saw on the prior page, this is the breakdown of the 799 full-time, part-time term employees in the division. And I'll come back here later if you have any questions about it. Going to the next page, I'm going to go one down, our job postings. So Lars, if you can go back one. Okay, something's missing. Oh, maybe I jumped ahead, or I got it backwards. Sorry, I probably have it out of order here. The job postings for the last 12 months, this is just showing you we had 334. In the red next to it, it shows you how many are currently posted and how many offers are pending, meaning we've made offers, we're waiting for the individuals to come back and let us know if they're going to accept the offer. And Lars, I'm going to get you to go back because I did have it out of order. So if you can go back to, yes, thank you very much. The sub-teacher and sub-EAs, so that is part of the 534 that I had on prior page. So this is just a part of it. So sub-teachers, this is just showing you where we are from last year to this year. Last year we did have 294 sub-teachers. We went way out because we We were had a lot of sickness from COVID. This year we have 195, so we're down almost 100. Last year we also had a lot of individuals who are trying for the first time. We were saying, let's go and try and get more uncertified teachers. We just need a fill-in, a body in the, let's get a body. So we did find individuals that had degrees in different areas. So we did find individuals that had mathematics degrees. We did find individuals that had biology degrees. They may not have been teachers, but they were individuals that were uncertified, but they were specialists in their degree area. You will see that we're down sub-EAs as well. I'm going to go to the age distribution chart. So what I'm showing here is I'm showing you age or age band for the whole division. This isn't just teachers, it's our whole division. We have almost we have a good bell curve. What you want to look at is you want to look at the 5 blocks, the 5 end blocks on this chart, and those 5 end blocks represent 128 staff. So from age 59 all the way to age 72, we have 128 staff that are over the age of 59. And as I said, the Canadian government is showing 60 years of age as where the normal retirement right now is. So going forward, we do know that we have to replace a lot of librarians, custodians, maintenance workers, etc. However, this isn't going to affect a lot of our teachers. Currently in those last 5 blocks, there are 30 teachers that are 59 and over. So it makes a portion of that 128 staff, but it is not the largest portion. Next slide, relationship building. We spend most of our core time with our union representatives, with our administrators, managers, divisional employees. We're constantly on the phone or on Teams or at the division, at their administrative sites, spending a lot of time on coaching, making sure that they're learning as much from us as we learn from them. Moving on to the next one, collective agreements. We do have, again, 5 collective agreements. Each of our collective agreements have expired. So our maintenance workers have expired December 31st of 2021, and the other 4 collective agreements have all expired on June 30th of 2022. I think we're all aware in this room that teacher collective bargaining has moved to a single tier provincial bargaining, except for those who are in DSFM. Moving to the next page, challenges. I'm going to say there's one big challenge, which is going to be the challenge when we get to collective bargaining. All the sites, and you're seeing the news bulletins coming out, you're seeing what's in the papers, you're seeing the MPI strikes, and compensation is going to be one of the largest challenges. And I'm going to give you an example because I'm here in the morning. I'm here when we have Kim make those short calls for last minute short sub calls. One of the first questions that is asked is, where is it? And you will often hear it's too far to drive. So we have to look at when we're bargaining going forward, maybe there's a mileage incentive or something. Individuals do not want to drive that extra hour there and home. And so that's 2 hours for them there and home, and the use of gas. So the very first question is, where is it? And usually we hear, no, it's too far to drive. Going on to initiatives. One of the largest initiatives that we have is we are continually reaching out to new places. We are posting at the U of M, Red River College, Brandon University, St. Boniface University, Canadian job sites, the Canadian Education Network, Indeed, LinkedIn, goes on and on. We reach out, we have contacts at each of the vocational colleges. It is trying to find, everyone is short in all the school divisions. It's from your teachers to your drivers. We've been lucky with our drivers to date. We currently do have 30 spare drivers, but of those spare drivers, we may only have 10 of them available at any time. It's like our teachers, they will pick up shifts in other school divisions. First, they will pick them up a day ahead of time, same with the drivers. So it's who can get to those spares faster than the other divisions. Going forward, I'm going to say one of the first page is going to be our main focus. It is always looking at how can we improve the PowerSchool functionality. How can we get better reports out of it? How can we develop better key indicators that come out of the system? Our relationship building, how do we make sure all those relationships with our internal clients are there? How do we make sure our relationships with our external clients are there? Going to the next page. One of the first one, the check mark, gave the check mark because I think the messages get out far and clear. We had our school sites, I'm going to call them, they were always feeling siloed, but I think they're coming together in a larger picture. They're seeing us as a division, not a siloed site anymore. So with that, we had our sites thinking of, I can let this person get the day off because I've got enough sub coverage. But we now are all recognizing we've got a sub pool that has to be maintained for all the sites, just not one site. When you draw from it, we don't have coverage for the other sites. So we're having all of our schools think of the larger picture and having them work together so we don't draw the pools down to the point where we can't cover any of the schools. The last one on our radar from last year, we still need to keep it on. It's how do we make our schools look inviting when we post, when we put them up, when we send the pictures out there. You can see from the last page where we have the pictures of the school. We have not had an opportunity to go out yet and put people in the pictures, put kids in the pictures, put bikes in the pictures. When we have these pictures online, the people that are applying to them don't really think they look inviting. They don't look like someplace they want to actually come and teach. If we brush them up and we put them out there, I know at one of the colonies, I was out there early in the year, and you see all the kids with their bikes parked outside. It does. When the kids are there, when the bikes are there, it looks like, hey, it looks like a friendly place. So we still are going to try very much to take pictures with kids in them. And that is it. Any questions from any of the trustees or any other individuals in the room?
Thanks, Jason. Anybody have any questions for Jason? Trustee Dent.
I got a question, Jason. On slide 16, when you're talking about going forward, you mentioned PowerSchools and the functionality and reporting of PowerSchools and increasing capacity around that. What does that look like for you? Is that like a training issue for the staff? Is that an issue with the level of PowerSchools that we have? Because I understand that there's different tiers of PowerSchools that we can purchase. So I'm just wondering if you can do a little bit more of a deeper dive for us.
I would say it's getting a better relationship with the individuals in PowerSchool. When we typically put a request in, we need an answer today or within the next 20 minutes, and the response typically is go onto the community site and read the information from the community. While there's a lot of good information there, we don't have 3 days to read to find out the resolution that has been used at other schools. So it's trying to get better support from PowerSchool.
Is there a plan then to kind of skill up people's abilities or knowledge with Power School so that they're not kind of stuck in a situation like that where they're needing to then research while they're hoping to have the answer?
So as a leadership team, we have spoken about that. We have included in our budget for this year to come up with a plan, and that plan is looking at addressing that. So we do have someone trained on staff that can give us some more input and work with Power School one-on-one.
I'll jump in there. We kind of have like a short-term, long-term plan. I think it was mentioned at prior budget year, considerations for a Power School resource, like either we can train somebody in-house or add an additional person to our IT team to become that Power School expert. That's kind of like the long-term plan. It'll be probably something that's discussed around the budget table. In the near future, when we gain the finance manager, we're looking at within our budget utilizing our PD budget to get training specifically for the needs that we see that there's weakness on. So I think we've talked about it at a management level. What areas do we want to have training, and specify that training with Power School just in the near future, that we can bridge those gaps that we can see. And rather than doing the training over again, we're going to wait till we get that finance manager in place and get them started. So we'll have a team of about 4 managers that'll be involved.
Thanks, Jody. Anything else for Jason? Alicia?
I have 2 things. This is Power School related, then I have other things that I had. For Power School, how many, this we talked about probably a long time ago, but how many other schools use Power School?
I don't have, are you talking about school divisions? Okay. I want to say there's about 4 within the province, and there's different components to Power School. There's the student information system, which I want to say there's more than 4 using that, and then there's at least 4 using Power School for the finance aspect. So out of 37 divisions, Power School is growing. We've heard that there was another division rolling over to Student Information, SIS, Student Information Power School. So that's a component of Power School.
Okay, and then for Jason, regarding and you touched on the retirement age mostly, and did you specify what job titles were in the retirement age? Did you go more into detail on that?
So I've indicated about 30 out of the 128 are teachers, and then the rest would be a mixture of our maintenance, our bus drivers, our custodial staff. So that's where we see the higher number of individuals.
And for the custodial, are there like the ones that need like the boiler tickets, that kind of stuff?
That I haven't looked that deep into the data.
I'm just wondering if there's anything like we have students going for like adult ed, anything like that, if we can maybe see if there's anything we could get some of our kids trained into certain aspects, see if anyone's interested in going into anything like that. I'm just thinking maybe.
It would be something worth exploring. Right now I know I do have a request from Robertson College to bring a payroll person that actually lives in the area and is studying in the college. So we are reaching out and saying if there's anyone in the area, please let us know, and we will certainly have them shadow and try and get them in the division.
And one more thing I also noticed is there's only 1 mental health worker. We had 2 last year. I'm just wondering what's going on there.
I can answer that. The board has consistently, it's at least 5 years, funded a position, and we've only ever had 1 position that was committed to. we've managed in the past through schools choosing to use their SBDM funds, and at times there's been additional funding from the province that we've been able to have another one. In reality, we've only ever had one that we knew we could commit to.
That's a great question, I think, Trustee Smith, for us to continue to talk about, because it kind of gave light to the fact is that do schools, we put a lot of money into the schools, and they choose then what to go ahead and do with some of those things. It'll be a great budget topic discussion for us, for sure. Anything else for Jason? The only other thing is I can tell you that when I retired from Interlake a number of years ago, we did use Power School fully. There was a parent portal where parents can go in and see the teacher's grade book for everything. Lars at the division office could go and see every teacher's grade book across and see what, when assignments are going in, what kids are getting marked on. The students can go in and see that. Power School can do an awful lot of things for us to just to expand. So at the school level and also at the division level with Jason and HR and accounting and those kind of things, we're probably using the tip of the iceberg with Power School. Anyways, thanks very much, Jason. We appreciate you coming in and sharing this information with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to move on to our minutes. So be it resolved that the board adopt the November 7th board meeting minutes. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Dent, seconded by Trustee Boytson. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, we'll vote. They passed 8-0. Thank you. So superintendent's report. So Lars, is this something that you're going to jump in on? There you go.
Thank you, Trustee Magnon. I'm not going to read over this, just want to bring the public's attention to a couple of things on here. One of them is that parent-teacher conferences are coming up, and we always like to see as many parents as possible in school, so please look out for invitations from your school and make appointments and attend those meetings. Meet with your teachers and see what your kids are up to. And it's turning into winter eventually. Winter was almost here, then it left, and now it's back. And we want kids to be healthy and outside, and so let's make sure our kids are dressed to go outside as much as possible, and remember that when they're on buses, sometimes that can get cold, and dress appropriately for the weather. The final thing that I want to bring attention to is Trustee Magnon identified at the beginning of the meeting the work that the crisis team has done, and mention myself. I really want to bring attention to the work of Trevor Reed and Jody Wilgosh, who are heading up the crisis team. The amount of coordination and problem solving and staff support and administrator support has been outstanding by those two, so I want to bring particular attention to them, to thank them very much for that.
Thanks, Jody. Any questions? Oh yeah, it's Jody. Oh my gosh, sorry. Thanks, Lars. Thanks, Robin. Apologies. Anybody want to ask questions? Alicia, the only thing that I can add to the report is Interlake School Division, 4 or 5 years ago, parents could book online through Power School their parent-teacher conferences. It's one of the things that people can go ahead and do. I'm not sure if we're using that function yet. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, schools, I think, use a few different platforms that are independent from Power School's third-party booking things. I don't know if most of them do, but I know many of them do.
Anyways, thanks very much for that. 6.2 is the draft reporting schedule. A reminder, that's for information that's there available. Can you just put that up on the board? So it's not that we're going to go through it, but just a reminder to keep on that as we go ahead and take a look at any kind of information flowing back to us. The draft reporting schedule is there. As we move forward, Kathy highlights the yellow parts of it as what we've completed and what's completed coming down the chute at us. Okay. Secretary Treasurer's report. Jody?
We're going to see if my computer is going to work and show. Nope, not at all. Okay. So I think rather than having a strobe light presentation, I'll just give a brief summary. I think a lot of things are happening at our schools. I've been fortunate enough to go see everybody over the last couple of weeks. So, but I'll give the highlight under finance. We have been working with Mary Trudeau, who, as our interim finance manager. Her period of time will come to an end by mid-December. Hopefully by then we'll have our permanent finance manager in place. We'll roll into transportation. I just want to say kudos to the fine, talented bus drivers that we have at the school division. The week of November 6th was a dicey one. There was a lot of challenging weather conditions that we were experiencing in the rural roads. They weren't ideal conditions because of the wet rain / snow. It took everybody, it gave the bus drivers some challenges, and they did a great job making sure that the students get to school and home safely. And I have to say thanks to the mechanics that were helping out. Whenever there was a bus that was having a bit of a challenge, they were able to help out and give support to the drivers. So the transportation really came together that week and helped each other out to get our students on the go. So that was great. I want to also say MPI, the strike is over, and we did gain 2 drivers to our spare pool. So we're really excited to welcome those 2 additional drivers. We'll scroll down to maintenance. A lot of projects are underway, and some of them have stalled. Oakbank Elementary, Hazel Ridge, I was there today and noted that the gymnasium accessibility lift, we're still waiting on the door and the electrical panel work. Again, we have not received the internal workings of the electrical panel, so that is still on back order. And there is no estimated time. We were expecting that the door would have been delivered by the end of November and installed, and today there was no progress. So it is a slow go, but we're hoping that we're going to see some movement in this project. It's not that the general contractor hasn't tried, it's the supplies that is falling behind. On the Edward Schreyer School, there are blinds installed in the school, and what I understand is it's near completion. There will be a deficiency list. We're noting of some of the things and working with the general contractor right now to identify them, and hopefully they can get that done sooner than later. But we are aware that there'll be a bit of a list for deficiencies. We can scroll down to ICT and just identify that all the desktops and laptops have been installed for the computer renewal program, so we're really excited to see all the students use them. Even our divisional sites also got new computers, so we're happy to see some of the operational sites were using computers that were 7 or 8 years old because they were not on a rotational renewal plan. So it was really nice to see that some of these computers that staff were using have been upgraded, so it's great to see. The phone system, what I understand is there has been a patch deployed. It's a manual install, and we were finding that it's less frequent with the echoes. We're hoping that this patch is fixing the issues that the schools have been addressing. But as always, should somebody experience something painful or awful with the phones, bring it up to IT's attention so we can address it accordingly. That's the summary.
Thank you. Any questions for Secretary Treasurer Thiessen? Judy, the only thing that I'm going to ask is, can you, I'm going to pick on the phones. Once we've completed everything with the phones, can you go back and take a look at, I guess, the process about what we did, and then come back to us with regard to what was the learning out of it, and what do we need to do when if we do something like this again, what do we need to go ahead and do so that we kind of avoid this kind of an issue? Is that fair? And is that okay with everyone around the table for us doing that? Okay, thank you. So we have now board business 8.1 PAC feedback. Can you bring that up so that we can take a look, just so that it's seen there? Who's taking this? Do you want me to take it? Okay, I got it. So again, we're still trying to decide what's going on with regard to a divisional PAC meeting. Unfortunately, we only heard from 5 PACs. So we need to what our next steps are with regard to the PACs. Pretty tough to have a divisional PAC meeting when we're only hearing back from 5 of our PACs. So I'm open for ideas. I have an idea but I'll open for ideas is from the board. Mr. Harris.
I'm encouraged by the responses. 2 out of the 5 gave suggestions on what they'd like to see. According to our flow diagram, we were supposed to have a divisional PAC meeting this fall. Obviously, that didn't happen. There's no way we're going to have it in the next month because of Christmas and so on. I suggest we get something going late January or February. I know it's in our budget time, but if it has to slip till March, well, it slips to March. But I think we should offer a divisional PAC meeting. I know the Gillis people would love to get involved. They gave some great ideas there. Let's set something up. Hopefully we get other schools, once we see something's booked, that they get involved as well.
Trustee Nicol?
Yeah, if we do something with the division of PAC, I think that we should explore the idea of a hybrid system, which means that you can either come in person or you can go on Teams. I think that's why some of the people are not. If you got to travel, I'm just saying exactly from Parkview, you got to travel over an hour to get here, and it's going to be in January and February. I'm not quite sure whether I want to. I don't even want to come to the meeting in January or February. It's so cold, even though I do come. So I think if you had a hybrid model, I think you'd get more PACs attending.
Anyone else want to comment? Trustee Rowan?
I'm just curious, when we sent this out, did we make it clear that this was for all the parent groups that are representing our schools? I'm only thinking like SMS, they're trying so hard to make a PAC, but they are one person shy of meeting that constitutional requirement. So I'm looking at this list and I'm seeing that they're not listed there, and I'm wondering if maybe they thought it didn't apply to them because by their constitution, they're technically not a PAC.
Yeah, I don't know that answer. That's probably a Kathy answer. I don't think that I can ask Lars to answer that. That's probably a Kathy answer as to where it is. I can tell you that the PAC that's at Parview School probably wouldn't meet that threshold either. Do we still bill them as a PAC to do things? There's a few driving people certainly behind it. I don't know that, but I think that's a question that I saw Lars write down, and we'll ask Kathy about it. Trustee Nicol?
I think if you look at the constitution that the province puts out, there's in the very bottom of the end, it says if you're at a small school, but if you want to, because they say you have to have 7, you can apply to the province and make sure that the Constitution says not 7 but 5 or 6 or 3 or 2, whatever it is. You can always apply to the province to reduce that number if it happens to be a small school. Or it also says if for any reason, it didn't say only a small school, but you can always apply to the province to get that constitution changed.
Anyone else? Trustee Boydson?
Next week, Hazelridge is having their first PAC meeting, so hopefully we can add to that list. And I know I've been trying to touch base with Anola, their president, has stepped down, so they're struggling to fill that position. So hopefully we can add some schools to that list before we have the meeting.
Anyone else? Trustee Smith?
For the earlier school, I do know that they were very, very close of not meeting their constitution last year. So when I missed their meeting last month because they had it, I think, on the 2nd. Did you make it to that one? Yeah. And I didn't get the email till the 3rd. And I can't make it Friday for their their vegetable pickup because I'm still at the conference. But they're very, very close to that as well. But they did make over $2,000 on their Peak of the Market fundraiser. So hopefully maybe their numbers are up, but they were very close to that threshold too. So I think they might have a chance too.
Anyone else? I'm going to share. I'll personally tell you that I'm disappointed. I think PACs are really valuable in schools. For us to have parental voice, I think, is critical for us. As a former principal, do I think that parental voice is important? Yes. And I think that we need to get bigger from the division, from trustees down through Kathy, through to our school principals. I know it's a lot of work to have to establish PACs, but I think it's critical for us to go ahead and have them. Because I do think the parental voice is critical. And again, it's great that people are out there fundraising, but it's not fundraising is really what I'm looking for in parental voice. It is a great component of it. But what I'm looking for is for them to be giving feedback to the administration about how things are going in the school. So I'm concerned. Do I think that I want to bring people together? And I guess if we can only get some, but I would really like it to see if it's a push from us from this group around this table to give direction to the people here, that I think that we need to support our school principals as much as possible to get our PACs. And I know it's harder and harder with volunteers and the volunteer systems, but I think that it's pretty critical. That's my opinion. If I'm welcome to feedback from anybody, certainly. Trustee Nicol?
Okay, I'm just talking from experience because I'm not quite sure the date that this went out, but when I was on the PAC, what happened, we'd always get stuff. We only met in October. That's when we meet October the 15th. Invariably, 2 days later, we got something from the division saying, we want your feedback. Well, we don't meet until way in November again. And by the time we meet, so I'm not quite sure when this letter went out to the PAC. So, but if it went out the later part of October, some of them, they already met, we'll say the 20th of October. If you got it on the 20th, or even the 21st, you'd have to wait until November 21st, which is already too late to get anything back. So I think that we have to realize that PAC only meets once a month. And I think that, I know from experience, that's always what happened before. I mean, that was many years ago, over 25 years ago, but still, I think the same thing sometimes might happen.
Anyone else? Trustee Smith?
I'm wondering that maybe PACs, for some reason, I know they have a constitution, but whenever you go to a PAC meeting, their main topic is fundraising. How to bring money into the school and what to build for the school. It's not giving the school direction. It's not. And the principal doesn't ask for direction either. So, yeah, I know you have something to say on that.
I guess I'm not asking, you know what, it's not about direction, but it's an advisory council. So it's really about for the principal to be sharing. So here's what I did. It's really about sharing information with your parents that are there, and for your parents to give you feedback about some of the things that are going on, whether it's our Christmas concert, whether it's what we're doing in our playground, a variety of different things. But it's really about trying to get feedback because you want to hear from parents, here's an initiative we're doing with the school. Some parents could tell you, well, if you did this, this, and this, maybe you're going to get more kids involved. Oh, okay. It's that kind of it's feedback about how school is operating. It's not. It's really, again, I think that it's a voice for parents to give an opportunity to get together with the school administration, and yes, fundraising is one part of it. But it shouldn't, I don't believe that it should be the only part. And Lars, jump in here if I'm wrong. It really is about how they can participate with the school. Remember, when we give site-based decision-making money to schools, SBDM dollars is what we talk about. That SBDM dollars isn't about the principal making all the decisions without getting, the idea is get feedback from your staff and from your parents about how you do things. It's not about, it's not about them running the budget day to day, not at all. But it is, you know, we're thinking about buying a new projector for our gym because we're doing this and this. You know, and is that something worthwhile, us spending $15,000, $20,000, you know, and you're getting feedback from parents? It's about their input certainly into the school. Tell me if I'm wrong, anybody. Trustee Dent?
Well, I'm not brazen enough, Trustee Magnan, to tell you that you're wrong. But I will say, one thing that we punted around as an idea to get parental engagement is to offer a survey to the parents. If we want, we can specify school if we're looking at to see if there's some commonalities within a specific school, like you were mentioning, that might be the case. But I don't know if that's something that we want to bring forward and look at discussing. I know we've had some emails about that over the last couple of weeks, looking at what River East Transcona was doing. But I don't know, just a suggestion to see if we can't get some parent engagement. We've been talking about PAC and the importance of PAC and getting numbers out since I started here as a trustee a year ago. And we're still here and we're still trying to pound the pavement and we're still struggling with that. So I don't know, maybe we need to adjust our focus a little bit and use a different approach.
Anyone else? Yeah.
I'm not sure who all the letters were sent to other than the PACs, but I'm just thinking like our colony schools generally don't have PACs. So would the principal have received a letter saying, you know, do you have a couple of parents that would come as a representative of that school? Because I know we used to get, I know Springfield Colony was very active at the coming to meetings and participating, and I just wondered if the principals could get a little bit involved there.
So I think part of about a successful PAC is our school administrator about working pretty hard about trying to get a PAC together. It's not that I'm trying to unload something else on our school administrators, but I think it's part of their responsibility about going ahead and making sure that we can get parental feedback. And one of the ways that you can certainly do it is through a PAC. So I think that, yeah, you know what, we'll give an opportunity for Kathy for some comments. I think that obviously we're not going to have a divisional PAC meeting before Christmas. It may be that we're going to look to sometime in February is what I'm thinking now. And what a great way to give people an opportunity with regard to come together and let's talk about budget. That's when people's voices get up a little bit and they will go ahead and share, particularly if our budget gets tight. You know, here's a real good opportunity potential for us to go ahead and do that. So obviously there's some more that we'll discuss more at our December meeting, but there's certainly more work to do for us to go ahead and do that. Trustee Smith.
I just had one more thing. I'm just thinking that maybe parents have so many other committees that they're on, like the hockey committee. Like there's this parent committee and there's this parent committee and there's that parent committee, and they're already part of so many committees that they don't have one more committee. Like if there was some way we could have a committee that just had everything, you know, like there's no way you can do that. Like I swear I have a meeting every single week, every day this week. Like people can't be everywhere. Like how can you do it? So, and you don't want to guilt trip them, oh, well, it's your kid's education, like you have to come to this one meeting. Like how can we get the information to them without making them feel like they're not where they're supposed to be? Like I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean?
Trustee Nicol?
Well, I know how to do that. You have a team meeting. That means you save 2 hours in your day. Most parents, even if you have it later, like 8 o'clock even, which means they put the younger kids to bed. Most kids are in bed probably around 8 o'clock. You have a team's meeting for 1 hour. They don't have to get out of the house. They don't have to drive. That's the easiest way.
Ed?
Sorry, I think some of the feedback that I had heard from our PAC group is, like they've tried to recruit, so at band concerts they'll set up tables to try and encourage folks to join. But I think what they're feeling was if there's a common goal, which is why I think the fundraising committees are successful. It's like there's a common goal of like-minded people that, you know what, this is our thermometer, we need to raise 150,000, here's the tangible, we're going to be able to purchase this, that, or the other thing, and they're on board with that. It's like this is a short-term commitment as opposed to, my son or daughter is starting kindergarten, and therefore, this might be a 5-year commitment for me to join once a month or once every 2 months. With fundraising committees, they're just in it until the item can be purchased, and then that's the exit. And I think that's what's attractive to people.
On a bit of a broader note in regards to that, and mentioned earlier in the superintendent's report about Parent-Teacher Day, we want engagement. If you look at which societies around the world have good educational outcomes, parent engagement is a big component in that. It's not necessarily that they have a superior education system. It's the degree of engagement. And the idea of I have a purpose which I can do with the fundraising, it's like there's an identified purpose where there's a known role and it's something where we can do this. If it is a broad unidentified role, it's going to be difficult, I think, to get people to be on board, because like I'm going to go to this group, and if there was some work we could do to clarify the role and how they could contribute to the education, it might be that I'm going to choose to join that group instead of going to that one. It's the same thing with kids. If they're not engaged where they have purpose, you lose them. So I don't have the magic answer to that, but I think it's part of it.
Trustee Smith?
I think what Dustin's saying is like, my kid is, like, for example, if the packet, the early years is selling Peak of the Martin kit, I'm picking up this piece of paper and I'm going to sell to grandma and great-grandma, and I'm going to sell $30 worth of vegetables or $25 for the vegetables. That's my duty. I did it for my kid. I'm done. I don't have to sign up for a Monday meeting every single month for the next 12 months. I'm selling $100 worth of vegetables. I did it. I'm done. I think that's the difference.
Anyone else? I could tell you that site-based decision dollars that we give to the schools, if we were to tell schools you don't have a PAC to get parental feedback on that, we'd have PACs. Anyways, I think that the idea is we'll bring it back to our agenda. I think that there's some more work that can be certainly done school level to see where we can get. And again, kudos to the PACs that are working and doing the stuff already, and for the ones that are doing some of the stuff maybe part-time. Again, we only got 5 responses back. I think that probably, you know what, we can talk further about. Think in your minds is that maybe February is a date. I know we're busy, but to get our PACs, and then it's also getting a pretty good opportunity. What's that big topic? The big topic there is budget. And do people want to show up when there's budget discussions? Yeah, they sure do, particularly if budget is tough. Okay, thanks very much for that. 8.2 is about future board discussion topics. Well, I only received one response from trustees. So how about if we push this back to Monday, November the 27th? Can you all get your topics in to me by Monday, November the 27th, and I'll get it back to you? And then let's get on to the topics. If you need us to send out another one of those lists, okay, Faith, can we send out those lists for the topics? Can you ask Kathy or Lars, can you ask Kathy to make sure and send it out, or I'll send it out? But it's a list there that had them there as to go ahead and what we thought, so we would prioritize our future discussion topics. But let's move on ourselves, and so let's get a new date, Monday, November the 27th, for people to get back to me. what I will do is we'll send the new one out and we'll remind you by email about it. Fair enough? Go ahead.
Am I getting Kathy to do that, or is Stacy or you?
That'll be a Kathy, Stacy, and I job. I just need to remind people as well. Is that fair enough from everybody? Trustee Nicol?
Are you going to make it fillable?
Stacy's going to make it fillable if she can, but Paul Magna is not going to make it fillable because Paul Magna can work on a chart, not a. But yes, we'll try to get some help with that, Dawn, to make it simple like that. Aren't we going to do that, Stacy? There we go. Perfect. Okay. Thanks. 8.3 is board budget meeting dates. I think that's you, you, Jody.
So this time of year, we always bring forward the potential budget calendar that we'd be looking at. So if anybody doesn't if anybody has issues with the dates, let me know. I am aware that there is policy committee meetings on, I believe it was January 11th and probably February 8th. So I don't know if the policy committee would want to adjust, but we've noted on Thursday, January 18th is the finance committee meeting, and we're thinking we can shorten up the meeting and talk real quick about numbers and then roll into a budget meeting afterwards. So I've noted when I'm aware that there was a finance meeting, we would go and review all budget documents throughout the month of January and February. We have input from the public on December 5th. We'll be sending out reminders, or emails I should say, to our municipalities to see if they want to attend our December 5th meeting. It's usually during our regular board meeting, so we'll have a bit of a slideshow to show what our 23-24 budget was all about, and if folks want to provide feedback at that time. We will also have another engagement for the public to provide us feedback on February 20th. From that point, we'll also review any further comments and see if we can adopt or amend or consider that for our budget. And then finally on March 5th, which is, I believe, one day sooner than last year, we'll have the budget done. So we must pass our budget on or prior to March 15th. So March 5th just lines up with our regular board meeting. Of course, during that period of time, folks can email. We have an email address. I believe it's budget@sunrisesd.ca should folks have further comments. But I think now's the time to get feedback or consideration for any scheduling conflict that folks might see in the future in the months of January and February.
Thanks, Jody. Any issues with these dates? Trustee Nicol?
Just to let you know that the policy committee will come up with new dates, and it'll be on the next meeting, December the 5th, with the new dates.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Don, I'm glad you said that because we were just about to boot the policy committee anyways to have these take precedence. No, thanks very much. Anyone else? Are we good with these dates? Right on. Good job, Jody, and thanks for giving these things to us ahead of time. Jody, did you want to talk about any more about December the 5th?
I can, yeah. We hope to put an advertisement out in the Clipper. We should see it in the next week's paper, I believe. And we will have a slideshow that'll be provided just to go through the current situation that we're experiencing, how the current budget year is operating, and then try and engage the public where they can give us feedback. Things like what do they want to see improve in the schools, or what is really good in the schools and they don't want to change. Hopefully we'll hear some feedback on that. Yeah, just trying to get that community engagement. It is hard. We don't have tremendous attendance, but we do have some viewership online, but we hope that we can get some folks, even if folks don't want to attend online, that they can send us an email on what their thoughts are. Keep doing what we're doing, or if there's rooms for improvement, just provide us that feedback so we can consider that when we go into our budget discussions.
Thank you. Stacy, you're going to add these dates? Any other further discussions here? Okay, none. Nice job. 8.4, be it resolved that the board approve in principle the Edward Shire School Grade 8 Orchestra and Grade 9 to 12 Senior Orchestra to the Moose Jaw Band and Choral Festival in Moose Jaw, May 12 to 15, subject to superintendent's final approval. Moved by trustee Smith, seconded by trustee Harris. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 8-0, thank you. We're on to policy committee. So trustee Nichol, did you want to add anything, policy, anything coming?
We'll change it to January 11th date, and that will be on the December the 5th meeting.
Okay, so Don, we have 2 notice of motions for policy 13. I know it's in here. Did you want to talk to that at all?
Yeah, we have notice of motion, the old motion and the new motion is on the ESB, so you can look at it. The new motion is in red, what we've changed, so it makes it easier for you to see, and we'll vote on December the 5th. It's a very slight change.
Did you want to talk to it at all?
No, I think people can read it and it's self-explanatory. I don't want to waste time.
Any questions then? Are we good? All right, thank you. Policy committee meeting minutes. Dawn, anything, you brought them forward. Is there anything from that you want to highlight from those minutes?
No.
Any questions from trustees about the policy committee meeting minutes? No, they're pretty straightforward. Thank you. We certainly have the finance. Trustee Boytson, anything that you want to update us with regard to finance?
No, the minutes are there. There'll be a check register motion coming next, and Jody's provided a very good divisional financial summary on 10.1, so if there's any questions, but otherwise, all the information is there.
Okay. So just a reminder that I continue to be the signing authority for the month of November. The Finance Committee meeting minutes are there. Are there any questions? Trustee Rowan.
I would like to have the meeting minutes changed to reflect that I was in attendance at this meeting and I attended via Teams.
Good point. I noticed. I apologize. I'll amend that.
Thank you. We have, be it resolved that the board receive the October 23 check register with a total amount of checks issued of $6,046,149.80, reviewed on November the 16th by the Finance Committee. Moved by Trustee Boytson, seconded by Trustee Dent. Any questions to that? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Thank you. It passed 8-0. 9.0 is about professional development for the public that are online. Trustees now are going on Thursday and Friday to meet with the Manitoba School Boards. All school divisions are meeting in the city on Thursday and Friday, and so we are going in as a crew there. Did I miss anything? No? Okay. Divisional Finance Summary Report. I think Trustee Boytson talked a little bit about it. They're there for information. Any questions from anyone for Trustee Boytson or for Jody with the Divisional Financial Summary Report? I agree. Well done, Jody. Thanks for that, and thanks to the Finance Committee. Hearing none. Okay, we'll move on. Nice to know information. Certainly a bunch of information that's there. Go ahead and certainly read that all out. What's pretty cool is seeing the girls hockey team in Beausejour winning the first game. So you know what, kudos certainly about hockey going out there. And again, you need to remind ourselves when we talk about that's great, but the stuff that Lac du Bonnet and doing with the food bank, those, let's put things that are important, of course. I've got my mind on hockey, sorry, but obviously those other things are important. And if anybody wants to comment on it, certainly do that. Okay, so upcoming meetings, we have those that are there, press releases, there are none to comment on. Jody, questions from the public. Are there any questions from the public?
Nope, there is none.
Thanks, Jody. Serena, I'm going to give you an opportunity. Is there anything from your point of view that you wanted to go ahead and ask a question or say something? Thanks, Serena. So for all the teachers, Serena did say, watch out, Paul, you know what, no, just kidding aside, thanks very much, Serena, but, and again, we appreciate you coming out to the meetings as well.
I do appreciate the invite, so thanks very much.
So we have two in-camera resolutions that we need to bring forward. One is, be it resolved that the board offer the position of finance manager effective as soon as can be arranged, as recommended by the interview committee. So that's going to be, I need a mover, so moved by trustee Boytson, seconded by trustee Nickel. Questions to this? Hearing none, we'll vote. It passed 8-0, and thank you to the trustee Boytson and the interview committee that went through that process. Thank you for doing that. And the second one from in-camera is, be it resolved that the board deny the written appeal received from QP 4456. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Boytson, seconded by trustee Nickel. Any comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 8-0 as well. Thank you for that. Have I missed anything from anyone? All right. Lars, you did a great job. You know what? And you know what? Our meeting probably went to 8:17, so we're going to remind somebody when she gets back. 8:17. Now we know what the difference is in those meetings. And thanks very much, Lars, for filling in. We appreciate it. Thanks, Jody. All right, we're adjourned. And we have one job left to do as a board, so we'll take 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll get back to one last thing.